Welcome back to California Veggie Gardener. Here's a bunch of my flame seedless grapes growing on this trellis back here along the fence. Give you a tip on growing flame seedless. So the best thing to do if you have grapes planted is to first put them on a trellis, and then you should read about pruning, because each grape really needs to be pruned differently, whether you cane prune or spur prune. Flame seedless is a spur prune, so you like to leave these little spurs on the old branches so that the new grapes can actually grow off there. Whereas Thompson seedless, another common grape, you can actually cane prune. So you just trim one long cane, prune it all off, and then it'll send shoots off that cane. So as you see, we have like way too many grape shoots here. So what you do is you go and you look where the spurs are, and you can break, you see where a branch is coming off, and you break like the little extra shoots coming off the spurs. So you leave just one shoot coming off each spur, which will thin your grapes out and help them grow bigger as well. As you can see, I hope you can see this. We'll give you a close-up. Okay, so right here is a close-up. You can see we have a few clusters of grapes starting here. These are gonna bloom right here. We have one right there, and we have another one right here that you can see. These will actually bloom and then start turning into grapes. So you see, like on this branch here, we have a cluster right there, and then down here we have another cluster right there. So actually the best thing to do when you have two clusters like that on one branch is, after they're done blooming, I'm gonna just come along and break this top cluster off. Otherwise the fruit on this larger bottom cluster are just gonna be small as well. So you have to watch your fruit as they're growing, come and thin them out so that you can get bigger grapes. Okay, so that'll be helpful to remember when you're growing your grapes. Also, a great thing to do is, once your grapes are growing larger, you want to bust the end of the cluster off, and that way you'll get bigger, juicier grapes. If you just want a whole big bunch of grapes that are small and you don't mind how large they are for eating, then you could just leave the whole thing. So that's it for our flame seedless grapes. I'll show you how they come along throughout the season. It looks like we're going to have a lot of grapes this year, judging by this little bunch here. So I'm going to have to probably trim it out a bit so we keep the light and air flowing good through this bush. Otherwise you might get some disease, which could lead to losing the whole crop. So keep them thinned out a bit so the air and sun can get to the leaves, and also trim back the fruit so you don't end up getting just small fruit. Okay? Remember those things, you'll end up getting some nice grapes at the end of the year. That's it for California Veggie Gardener. See you later. Now you see on this branch there's a good cluster of peaches right here. Way too many for the tree to support. So we're just going to go ahead and bust off a lot of the smaller peaches here so that we can let a few of those bigger ones grow. And I'm still not going to thin them out quite as much as need be, but the tree will thin itself out a little bit as well. So there you go. I've thinned out those peaches a bunch.